Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about Zephyr test case folder creation, creating the test cases, and adding all their steps and expected results. So as you guys can see, we're currently on the main page of the Zephyr squad in our JIRA project named Tech Global 123. So the first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to create a folder. We're going to name the folder to do model function. That's going to be the name for the folder. We do have this Tech Global training practices. You guys will all have access to it. We're going to go to the front end testing because this is user interface. And we're going to have this to-do list project as our example. All right, so we have 5 test cases with some of them have 6 steps, some of them have 9. I think it just varies. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with test case number 1. The name is to do app model verification. We're going to copy the name and we're going to start with creating the new test case. So once we click on create new test case, we're going to add the name. I just copied it from the practices page. Okay, so objective, we can just keep it as the same. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna specify the folder, which is to do model function. Tech Global is the owner. You can assign it to yourself, obviously, when you will be creating it. Then we're going to go to the test script, which is the next step in our process. And this is where we're going to add the step-by-step details. So if we go back, we have test case number 1, and step number 1 is we have to navigate to this Tech Global training page. So we're going to copy and paste step number 1. To duplicate the number 1 here. So navigate to this project. Any testing data, that's not applicable for this specific test case right now. And the expected result is user should be on this page, right? So that would be your expected result. So that's step number 1. We're going to quickly go back and add all of the steps. It says confirm that the to-do app model is visible. So right, once you click on this link, which it is asking you to click, we're going to delete here for now. So we are on this Tech Global Frontend Project 6 page right here. And we need to confirm that the to-do app model is visible with the title My Tasks. This is just a manual verification, right? Like a visual one. We have My Tasks. Everyone could see it. And we are confirming that it is actually visible. Okay. So we're just going to add one more. Expected result is this. And we're going to add the second step. Second step is we are confirming that it's visible with the title My Tasks. Test data, again, we don't have much. And the expected result is pretty much this similar thing, right? We're just confirming, validating that it's visible. You can take a screenshot of this, right? Take a screenshot and add it as part of your test cases. And you can even add some kind of error pointing that says, yes, My Tasks is visible and it looks as expected. We're not going to add the screenshot, but you are more than welcome to do so. So that's our second step. The third step is validating that the new to-do input field is enabled for text entry. New to-do input field. looks like it is enabled because when we click on it, you see this blinking line, right? Which tells us that it is enabled for a text entry. What we're going to do, we're going to add that step again to our project. So step number 3, validating that the new to-do input field is enabled for text entry. We're not entering any text, so no test data. Our expected result is very similar. Validating is enabled for text entry. Okay, step number 4, validate add button is enabled. When you hover over to the add button, you can see it turns a little brighter blue color, which means it is enabled, correct? So step number 4. Again, these are very similar steps and may seem like we are kind of repeating the steps, but this is the way it's supposed to be, okay? Validate add button is enabled. Again, you can add the screenshot if you want to. We're not going to do it here. Next one is validate the search field is enabled. Same thing here. The search field. It is enabled, as you guys can see. When you click on it, it gives you the option to start typing. So that would be our step number 5. Expected result. Search field is enabled, right? Okay. And I believe we have just one more step in test case number 1, which is validating that the task list is empty, displaying that the message no task found. As you guys can see, we don't have any to-do tasks at the moment. And we do have the message as expected, no task found. Very specific. Starts with a capital letter and with an exclamation point. So make sure you follow all of that. All right. Step number 6. The task is empty and no task found. All right. Again, you can always add a screenshot. And just like that, we are done with our test case number 1. Once we click save and we go back to our Zephyr squad, it will show us the folder that we created, to-do model function folder, and it has our test case here, which is to-do app model verification. We have the name, the details. When you go to test script, we have all of the 6 steps here. The execution part, we don't have to worry about that right now. Attachments, again, if you would have added any attachments to any of the steps, validating the enabled buttons or the text shows as expected, you would see them here. Any comments, we don't have any for now, and the history just shows that when it was created, which is today, March 25th. Okay. That is pretty much done for the test case creation. We'll go ahead and do a couple more test cases because we have at least 5 of them in this model. All right. Test case number 2, single task addition and removal. First step is very similar to the one that we just did. So we're going to go to this squad here again. This is the second test case. The name of it, we can just copy from here. Single task addition and removal. So that's going to be the name for our test case. Single task addition and removal. Objective is the same. No precondition, but make sure you do choose the folder that we just created for the to-do model function. Priority we're going to keep as normal. And we go to the step number 1. Just want to close. Okay. Step number 1, we're navigating to that same page. That's our home page. Once you navigate, these are going to be on this home page, right? All right. Second step, enter a new task in the to-do input field and add it to the list. Okay. Step number 2, enter the new task in the to-do input field and add it to the list. So we're just going to name it new task. And we're going to click on add. Expected result. Text has been added into the to-do list. All right, that's our expected result. Step number 3, validate that the new task appears in the task list. We gotta copy the step here. And we're just gonna go back and validate. Okay, you see we just typed new task, we added it, and you can see now the new task appearing here in the task list. So you can take a screenshot and show that it's been added. You can highlight it the way you want it, or you can just point like a little arrow showing, yes, new task has been added and it's appearing on the page. All right, we're going to go back. Our expected result. New task appears the task that could. Okay. Number 4, validating the number of tasks in the list is exactly 1. So we just entered 1 task. You need to make sure that only 1 task is appearing. Again, just a visual verification. So very simple, but we do need to keep our test cases very thorough, step by step, without missing any steps. All right. Expected result, number of tasks in the list is equal to 1. We go back, it's only 1 here. All right, then the next step is marking the added task as a complete by selecting its checkbox. It's where it gets a little bit more interesting. So step number 5, marking the added task. So new task is here. So once we click on it, you guys can see that it has been marked as completed. You see the green check mark and the task is crossed out, which means it is marked as completed. So we selected the checkbox, just clicked on the task pretty much, and we can see this step being completed here. The task is marked as completed. Step number 6, validate item is marked as completed. Again, very similar step. We're just going to show that the green check mark is on instead of the gray one like it was before. That means that the item is marked as completed and it's crossed out. Very similar step here. As completed and is crossed out. Okay, step number 7. Click on the button to remove the item you have added. So once we clicked on completed mark, right, we can see that remove completed tasks. You also see the delete button. So in this case, it says click on the button to remove the item you have added. So we're going to click on the delete button first, and it has been deleted. But that's what our click on the button to remove the item you have added. Added task is for remove. All right. And then the next step is remove the completed task by clicking the design removal button, right? We had two options to do it. One just by deleting it, by clicking on the delete button. And now we have a designed one as well. So removed by clicking the designed removal button. So for the purpose of this task, we're just going to add it back, mark it as complete. Once we mark it as complete, we have this specifically designed button appeared, right? Remove completed tasks. What this step is asking us to do is to remove it by clicking on this specific button here. So once we click on it, it gets removed. Again, the expected result. Added task is removed when click the designated removal button. All right. Leave one last step. Validate the task list is empty and displaying the message no task found. So once we added the new task, we deleted it. Now we have no tasks in our to-do list and we have the message no task found displaying. Right, expected result is very similar. The task list is empty and displaying the message no task found. That pretty much sums up our test case number 2. Again, feel free to add the screenshots to make it more visible, like visually easier to understand what's going on in each step. That's always appreciated. So we're going to go ahead and save it. And if we go back, now we have to do up model verification and then single task addition and removal test cases. And if you go into each one of them, you will see all the steps that we have added here with all the details. Nice and easy. All right, and then you would just repeat every single step, right? We'll have 5 test cases. You would just do the same thing for test case number 3, test case number 4, and test case number 5. That sums it up. We are just, for this training purpose video, we're going to do just 2 test cases. We don't want the video to be an hour long, but I hope it gives you a good starting point in order to learn how to create a test case folder for the function that you're about to test, how to create the new test cases. And thank you all for watching.